Hello po, good morning to everyone there in the Philippines. Can you see me now po? Yun. Okay. Thank you, Mama Lu, and thank you, Ma'am Aimee, for joining me here in Zoom. And we have a couple of viewers who are online. Hello po sa inyong lahat. Hello po, Ma'am Abigail, Ma'am Maribel. Um, Hopefully, can you hear me clear po? Good morning, everyone. Okay. Opo, crystal clear. Thank you. All right. So we will go ahead and begin with our Cultura reviews. Cultura reviews po is basically a video presentation. So there are research reviews. Research reviews po are usually written to review some research materials. But what I will be doing is instead of writing it down, I will do a video, at the same time a documentary, video review of the actual research materials. But then we will not only be reviewing research materials here, but we will also be reviewing, like for example, magazines like this, right? We will be reviewing books like this. So there, that's why I'm opening it up also for everyone to give your own suggestion to what kind of reviews do you want? Later on, we will open up a thread wherein we will open up suggestions po, open it up for suggestions para po kayo mismo ang mag-propose ng mga re-reviewin natin na mga materials. So let me pull it down a little bit. Okay, so we will go ahead and begin. What I will be reviewing today is the Invention scripts, or it's an essay by Peter Unseth. So, an invention of scripts in West Africa for ethnic revitalization. So, um, this one po, it's very important. And while I'm teaching or lecturing, I hope that you bear in mind the struggles that we are having with our own ethnic revitalization, especially using the Baybayin script. Okay, so here you go. Let me go ahead and proceed. It's also important, okay, the reason why I'm focusing a lot on this, like reviews or like research materials, is that, like I said, I mentioned a while ago, mahalaga po na malaman natin na yung mga ginagamit nating mga referensya or mga citations are properly cited or properly mentioned to our students. For example, uh, there's the ang radioactive material or radioactive waves that cell phones emits are causing cancer, for example. I'm not saying that it does, but if we cite that to our students, they might assume that it's really true, but in fact, the study does not suggest or does not say so. So in order for us to really give a good citation, we must go through it, review it properly, right? And give the proper citation and give the proper stuff. Hindi po parang iwas sabi-sabi lang, parang sabi-sabi lang, kwento-kwento lang. Mahalaga lalo na ngayon sa panahon natin na marami ang tinatawagang misinformation. Mahalaga na mga information na binabanggit natin sa ating mga estudyante are really credible information. Um, Whenever we use a fact or a truth and relay it to the students, they will assume it like 100% truth. So, and they will take it as how it is. So, it's important for us to relay the right information, the proper information to our students. Now, um, Good morning po, Ma'am Shirley. Hello, I could see you saying good morning. Magandang umaga po sa inyo lahat. Invention of Scripts in West Africa for Ethnic Revitalization by Peter Onseth. So let's go ahead and proceed. This is Peter Onseth, right? And the review that I've gotten was from here. Peter Onseth have studied various writing systems, okay, and he's a true scholar in this field. So even that itself, mahalaga na um, yung mga tao, mga ginagamit natin ng mga research materials are really credible from credible people. Okay, so like I said, Peter Onseth is not just a person who lacks knowledge on this kind of materials, but he's a real scholar on this field. So that's Peter Onseth, and this is the book where his essay was included. And his essay again is entitled "Invention Scripts in West Africa for Ethnic Revitalization." So his own essay includes introduction, the necessary conditions for scripts to succeed, syllabary versus alphabet, uh, scripts invented in West Africa related success of WAIS, or later on you will find out what that is, viable scripts, hopeful scripts, failed scripts, indigenous scripts in ethnic revival elsewhere, and conclusion. Now, I will show you something just for icebreaker. What region is this? Can we get an answer po from our viewers online who are online po? What region is mostly shown in this stuff? Oh, those who are chatting with or who are with me in yes. Nakita ko na yung answer ni Ma'am Malu. Thank you, Ma'am Malu. Okay, let me see who can answer from Facebook Live. What region is this? I know they're delayed like 10 seconds. So we have to kind of wait and wing it out a little bit and wait for them. Or maybe they just really don't know. It could be that also. Well, somebody gave a thumbs up. So uh, that's probably in response to I said that they really don't know yet. But you should know. This is easy. Okay, I'll go ahead and say the answer of Mamalu. There we go. Yes, it's part of Asia po. In to be more specific, it is Southeast Asia. Okay. Do you recognize these scripts? Okay, yan. Does any one of you recognize this script po? Can somebody just give me a wild guess? If you can give me a wild guess of just one of those, then that would be great. It would be great because at least you know a writing system that is from Southeast Asia, right? Tell me one a Southeast Asian script. I showed this because I want to hit closer to home. Diba? Good morning po to those who are just joining now. We have a couple of viewers there at Facebook Live. Yes, okay, very good po, Ma'am Malu. That's one of them is Khmer. Okay, let's start guessing them one by one. This is Burmese. Lao is the other one, the first one. There's Burmese. There's Thai. Okay. There's there, the what Mamalu guessed. We have Japanese, right? We have Sudanese. writing and Balinese writing. These four right here, okay, just to show you, these four right here are part of the mainland script from Southeast Asia. These are what they call maritime scripts. Okay, maritime scripts. So after the trading, maritime relationship scripts, there's also one script there that I still have not shown. Can you guess what that is? To those who are watching on Facebook, please join us next time sa Zoom para kwan. Kasi may delay po sa ng 10 seconds, 10 seconds delay sa Facebook Live. Kaya mas maganda sa Zoom kasi mismong yung answer ninyo makikita ko kaagad. Can you recognize this script, this last script that I'm showing to you right here? What script is that? Mamalu, Ma'am Amy, Ma'am Andre, any wild guess? Any wild guess po? Just give me your wild guess. Nothing? Sulawesi? Good guess po. It does look like it. Ay, walang audio sa Zoom? Wala daw audio sa Zoom? To those who are in Zoom, can you hear me? Baka ma'am, oh meron daw po. Ma'am Andre, baka yung setup ng audio po ninyo ay hindi po naka-set up pa. Anyways, okay, let me just go ahead and reveal it. It is Hanonoo, right? It's a Hanonoo script from our home, Philippines. Okay. So those are the scripts of Southeast Asia. Well, not everything, of course. We have a lot more scripts in Southeast Asia. Sa Philippines na lang, marami na ring mga iba't ibang or variations ng scripts. Now, let's go ahead with our introduction of Peter Unset's own essay. So, script. These are the scripts that was invented, okay? Invented in West Africa. Okay, these are the scripts that was invented in West Africa. First among the scripts that was invented was the Vai, or yeah, the Vai from 1832, right? Or I think it's even earlier than that or later. It's around that time. But anyways, um, script. Okay, script o mga sulat or writing system. Okay, a script is a tool for recording thoughts. Okay, for recording thoughts. How? Through writing. By writing it down, you're recording it, right? Bago pa nagkaroon ng cassette recorder, video recorder, meron na pong sulat to record thoughts, and that is the writing systems or scripts. Scripts are also used as a tool for ethnic revitalization movements. Like how? Scripts can instantly identify any written item as being allied with a different identity. So, yung Hanunoo na lang, right? For example, Hanunoo script. What ethnic group do you, yeah, alam pa ni Mark yan. What ethnic group do you know, right? What ethnic group do you, or comes to mind when we talk out about Hanunoo? When we talk about Hanunoo, what ethnic group comes to mind? Yan. Dapat may mga sound effects din tayo. No? I promise po, cultural reviews will be more interesting in a couple of yung mga susunod, because of course we learn from our kwan po, from our uh well, mistakes, or from what are our shortcomings. There we go. Yan, sabi, may nagsulat. First, sabi po, may nagsabi na it's from the dumagat, or dumagat comes to mind. Another one is from the mangyan. I have a mangyan here, idea of mangyan here in stuff in Zoom. And also from Facebook Live, meron ding mangyan na lumabas. Okay. So the answer is it dumagat or mangyan? The answer is mangyan po. Yeah, wild guess. Opo. It's okay po. It's okay. Participation is really good. So what comes to mind when we hear or see Hanano scripts, yung sulat pa lang nila, what comes to mind are the Mangyan people. And that is correct. Because again, like what it said, script can instantly identify any written item as being allied with a different identity, or cultural identity. So something that's important in our studies, the in this essay, is the use of the term WAIS, or WAIS. Okay, WAIS means West African Indigenous Scripts. Okay, so over a dozen, more than a dozen talaga yung scripts that was invented in West Africa over a short period of time between World War One and West African, or the African independence. Okay, so it was all motivated by these scripts. The invention of these scripts were all motivated by ethnic revitalization. So to revitalize their ethnic identity, they created these scripts. Okay, um, in as far as with us, our own bilang mga Pilipino, we really have our own writing system, right? So we don't really need to invent. Um, Another is the full. And these scripts, okay, are fully functional, a sound-based writing system, either alphabet or syllabaries, and also a tool for ethnic revival in two levels. One is to distinguish certain ethnic groups from other nearby ethnic groups, and two, to separate the American or African ethnic groups from outsiders, like, for example, Europeans and Arabs and their scripts. Okay. So there are necessary conditions for scripts to succeed. Okay. And let's go through this one by one. One is the adequate desire from the community. So there must be an adequate desire for a change among a significant number of members of the ethnic community for a revival to succeed. So a great number from the ethnic or language community must decide that they want to use the language in written form using the script. So dapat marami yung mga nagde-desire na uh, 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 suportahan ito. Okay, so community must choose the scripts or functions in social domains. For example, genealogical record keeping, personal letters, education, diba, government documents, religion. So it's important that communities actually support this. So for example, yung ginawa recently sa Pilipinas, yung binago yung mayroong baybayin scripts sa Maynila, di ba? So those are all community efforts and government efforts. Another one, so what yun nga, there has to be a good number of the community. There must be a successful corpus development and successful acquisition planning. So yun nga, first community, and second is the successful implementation and development as a writing system. So the need of corpus or collection of materials where the script is codified. ablative literatures about the script or using the script. So there must be a maraming materials, di ba? Katulad for example, dito, this was a magazine created by Christian Kabuay that is purely what baybayin writing system or Philippine scripts. So there's baybayin there. There's also a Hanunoo scripts, right? So you can see all these right here. These scripts right here are created by Norman de los Santos, and we've also interviewed Kuyang Norman already. See about his works. At ito nga. See, I wish I could show it to you. I'll probably will do a review on this one also someday. Um, so success in corpus development. Corpus meaning, what do you call this? A number of literatures or a collection of materials where script is codified. Okay. And then number three, acquisition planning, which is uh, papaano ito ituturo sa masa, papaano ito ituturo sa mga bata, sa community. Okay? So, how planning of how it will be acquired, planning of how people will be able to acquire such information or knowledge. Okay. Successful Y scripts, both as a tool. Okay. Let me go ahead. Yeah. So again, different ways of acquisition. So through probably reading, through computers, through cell phones. Those are ways of acquisition. So proper planning of how it can be acquired. Successful YS scripts or West African indigenous scripts, both as a tool of ethnic revival and as a writing system, are those that have passed these necessary conditions. So these are the necessary conditions. One, it must have an adequate desire. There must be an adequate desire from the community. Two, successful corpus development, and then three, proper acquisition planning. So and this is what exactly Peter Onset had examined in his essay. Now, before we continue, let's learn what an alphabet is and a syllabary. An alphabet, and I'm just going to explain it really by passing and really quick. Um, Alphabet is composed of, for example, me, the word me, right? Me is composed of two characters, M and then E, right? That's an alphabet. M is a consonant, E is a vowel, right? So that's composed of two scripts or two characters. Now, for a syllabary is composed of what? Of one symbol. Okay, this one I just put the M and E together, but it's composed of one symbol or one character, right? And that's the entire syllable. So, for example, um, uh, let me see the word alphabet, right? So alf or al, one syllable, fa is one syllable, beth is one syllable. Okay, so those are uh, syllabary scripts. Like for example, this one is a syllabary script. Okay, this I just invented this, by the way. It's not an actual script, but what I did is just I put the ME together, and then it looked like ME. But they're together. Anyways, learning to read syllabary has been seen as easier to learn in many places. So invention of scripts in West Africa for ethnic revitalization. According to Peter Onset, yun nga, sabi ni Peter Onset, learning to read syllabary has been seen as easier daw, mas madali daw ang syllabary na pag-aralan sa maraming mga lugar. So that's probably why the wise scripts were mostly syllabary, or I think all of them are syllabary. Oh, okay. So like what we said a while ago, scripts invented in West Africa. The first one was the Vai script from Liberia in 1933. So first, otherwise scripts, and this was inspired by Cherokee syllabary from the U.S. This is how Vai script looked like, and this is a Cherokee, and this is, by the way, the one who invented the Cherokee writing. Okay, and Cherokee was also syllabary. Hold on a second. I was going ahead of myself there. So Ys are mostly syllabary, like I said, written in linear form. They're written in linear form na paganon. Okay. Inventors age are average like around what 25 years old, living in areas of Christian missions, where Christian missions were active, being fully aware of the practical advantage of a Roman script and its holy book, the holy book referring to the Bible. So nakita nila yung advantage nun, so they also went ahead and invented their own, right? The advantage to create an advantage for their own ethnic identity. Majority claim that their script had been inspired or revealed by divine revelation. So this is Sequoia, by the way. Sequoia is his name. Now, success otherwise scripts were relative, meaning depende, right? So yan ang nakikita natin. Kung uh, titingnan natin itong scale ng success nila, 8 or 10 being successful, 1 being not so successful. Okay? So nakikita natin yan, NQ is the most successful and Vi is somewhat, successful. So there are 3 different relative success of the Y scripts. 1 being viable, 1 is hopeful, and 1 is failed. Ilan yung viable? Okay, let's look at this one. There has been 2 viable scripts. Origin date for NQ is 1950 and Vi is 1833. So like I said, ito yung nga yung nauna, yung Vi. Community acceptance is broad. Domains is broad for the NQ, and then Vi is several. Corpus is extensive, right? Maraming collection ng maraming mga materials na ginamit ng NQ. Maraming mga ganito. Magazines siguro, mga libro, mga documents or whatever. Yung Vi naman includes New Testament and Quran and computer fonts. So NQ and Vi have been adopted by significant portion of their communities for use in publishing a number of domains. So both received some level of government recognition. Okay, some or both Enku and Vi pass far beyond the immediate circle of their creators, and both also communities follow Islam, but both scripts are used by Muslims and Christians to teach their faith, right? So that's interesting. Both scripts have been used to publish translations from Quran and New Testament, though only in Vi are either available in complete form. Both have computerized fonts, okay, available in Unicode, motivated for the use of the scripts. So both have been used to publish a variety of literatures, corpus, but Enku has a more extensive number of corpus. more than all the Y scripts combined. Pag samasamahin mo naman lahat ng mga Y scripts, uh, mas marami pa rin ang mga na-published na materials na nku. Okay, and then both have more vigorous programs of acquisition than the failed scripts. Eh ano naman yung mga yung hopeful na script? Okay, may iisa lang at yan yung Mandombi. Uh, Mandombi is still used in a limited circle, gaining users and visibility, weak in production corpus. So, walang masyadong napoproduce na mga material. Pero naituturo pa naman sa mga community, merong mga ilan na mga materials pero hindi gaano karami. Okay? Mahina sila sa pag-produce ng mga materials. And at the same time, meron na siyang font na computer font. So, that's a good news, right? Ay ano naman ang nangyari po sa mga failed scripts? Bakit hindi naging successful? Most are no longer used and the rest hardly used at all. So some have no real hope of being revived. Some were never used beyond the immediate circle of their creators, and some have been officially opposed by national governments. None show much evidence of communication or community adoption, and no corpus produced or no acquisition being done. So yun ang nagiging dahilan why there are failed scripts. Okay? Now, summary. Let's go with our summary. So we've learned that Y is. Do you know what Y is? Do you still know what Y is? So let me have a pop quiz. What is Y is po? Yung Y is na gano'n, Y is. What is Y is? Anybody from Zoom? Anybody from Facebook Live?
Western African indigenous script.
Yes, very good po, Mamalu. Thank you for reminding us what WISE is. West African Indigenous Scripts, right? So, West African Indigenous Scripts were invented leading up to the independence of Africa, and it was instrumental in ethnic revival. So we've also learned the role of Unicode. Paano nagiging mahalaga ang Unicode or computer fonts sa pag-revive ng baybayin. Because, for example, Vian, Inku, and Mondombi, right, already have a font. So right now they are Vian and Inku is viable, while Mondombi is hopeful, and the rest is actually uh, I could consider the others also hopeful, I guess. But then there's a still unclear role of Unicode talaga sa revitalization because, well, unclear. Meron ng font pero hindi naman ginagamit, so it could still be useless, right? So script viability. Well, we've also learned the script viability, right? How it can be viable. So indigenous scripts in ethnic revival elsewhere. So many scholars recognize the ethnic revitalization using scripts as tools in peninsular Southeast Asia. Dito, marami ang mga revivalist or revivalist here, right? Well, even here, we know that because we are also reviving our script. Okay. Um, in West Africa, the creation of Vice script became the catalyst for other groups to create their own scripts. So repeated patterns in this revitalization or in this creation, right, and maintenance is that there's this first enthusiasm, okay, by a small circle of people or group in that ethnic group, okay, There's a propagation to implement, right? Production of initial documents or corpus. Okay, paggawa ng mga materials, right, na gagamitin na or mga um, libro, ng mga font, ng mga iba't ibang klasing mga materials that promotes the writing system. And then there's also the planned acquisition, okay, of the materials. So that all of those are needed, right? There's those three that it's needed in order to have a successful uh, implementation or revival of scripts. Okay? Yun nga, sabi ni uh, Peter Unseth, seemingly success of scripts as a tool for ethnic revival is first, literature does not have to directly link the directly yung mga literatures, it doesn't have to be directly linked to activities related to ethnic revival such as ethnic history, di ba? Katulad nito, materials like this, for example, this magazine about baybayin, it doesn't all have to be related to ethnic history or history ng Pilipinas or history ng certain groups, but it can be from the pop culture, right? Like for example, I know some of the materials that are here are really from pop culture also yung ginamit ni Kwan. Ito pa oh. Merong I think this is a recipe of how to cook something, right? So, ganun. Another one is it must first succeed as a script. Kailangan maging successful muna siya as a script. So kung iisipin natin yung baybayin, right? Papaano sa tingin po ba ninyo ang baybayin natin ngayon ay successful na as a script? Or does it need to be standardized? Okay? Does it need to be revised? Should there be a modification that needs to be done for the baybayin to be a what they call successful script, right? Can the traditional baybayin writing, okay, without the cruz virama, be a successful script in our time? Okay, we're influenced by so much different words. Okay, we borrowed so much words. We're so used to all different kind of words. Okay, that we have cannot be viable. Can the baybayin script or the standard or traditional baybayin can it be viable in our time? Okay, and then its usage must be spread as much as possible. So hindi lang sa isang community. For example, ang magandang example dyan ay mga sa Hanunoo. Right? The script of the Hanunoo are very, it's really good because until now they're still using the script, but it need to be more spread, all over the Philippines. Kaya nga dun sa baybayin course natin na susunod, may kasama na doon na Hanunoo script. Uh, or parang seminar sa Hadono script. Okay? So there must be an alternative teaching programs devised by the communities to teach the script. Okay? Katulad nga ng Unicode. So they can have Unicode and all the other materials, okay? Either materials about it or materials using it. So there's a difference. Materials about, for example, materials about baybayin, right, are, for example, a book that teaches us how to use the baybayin. For example, the baybayin 101 or the baybayin workbook that is available sa Kumo group na sa digital copy. That is a baybayin material, right? And there's also a material that actually uses it, or materials that uses it. For example, like this, they actually used baybayin to write. Okay, and this, by the way, is Hanunoo. This was written in Hanunoo. I don't want to go ahead and dive so much on our script because that's opening up a can of worms. Uh, but we will talk about that more in by buying 101 when we start. And by the way, by buying 101 and by buying 200 will be starting soon. So see you back in class. Please join us. Okay. Conclusion. Okay. Do you still remember what scripts are these? I showed it a while ago. Any guess? Any wild guess, Paul? Those who are on Facebook, there are more of you than us on Facebook. There are more of you than us here in Zoom. Do you still remember these scripts? Which is the most successful from the YS scripts? You remember still? Okay, there are two, right? The Nku and the Vai. Okay, and that's those. The Vai and Nku not only endured, but they prevailed, functioning as both writing system. Right there, Mama Francis, thank you for answering in Zoom. Okay, sorry, I just burped. Um, there's the Vai and Inku not only endured, but they prevailed in functioning as both a writing system and as a symbol of ethnic identity. Again, what makes a script successful according to this essay? One, it must be supported by the endorsement of an adequate portion of the community. Two, provisioned by an adequate corpus of literature, right, in the script. So there must be an adequate corpus or writing written materials, okay, or literatures. Like for example, you know the Hebrew revitalization, gusto ko lang isingit, ano, was successful because there are a lot of literatures that are in Hebrew. Okay? For example, like the Bible, right? Kaya naging successful yung revitalization ng Hebrew writing system. And number three, established by some sort of schooling to others. So acquisition planning. So those are the three very important part of revitalization. So here I will just show you my references. Here's a reference, references, references, and then let's go to reflection. So reflections po. Let's think of the baybayin, and this will be asked in the in the attendance sheet. If the attendance sheet po, by the way, is in the events page, go to the event page. Event page hindi sa kultura po ah. Punta kayo sa event page sa mismong group natin sa Kumo. Punta kayo sa Kumo and then check ninyo yung events. Nandun po yung event natin ngayon which is this, itong Kultura Reviews. And then doon po ninyo makikita doon sa discussion yung attendance sheet. So go there and here are the things that you will answer. Okay? How do you think the community how is community endorsement with the baybayin? You think the community is endorsing it a lot? Or how much of the community is endorsing the use of baybayin or the writing Philippine writing system? There's 1 to 10 yon. 1 to 10 yung ano to kwan yung i-mark ninyo, 1 being none and 10 being a lot. Okay? And then another question is there a sufficient number of corpus or literature about or about baybayin or using the baybayin, right? Is there an adequate number of corpus? So 1 is none and 10 is a lot. How is the acquisition planning of the baybayin? You think there's enough acquisition planning that's going on in the Philippines? I'm talking Philippines in general, no? Uh, one being none and 10 being a lot. Cultura code for